Good morning, brother. How you doing?
Peace.
Good morning. Peace.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Money?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, can you turn your
Yeah,
camera
we can hear you clear.
Turn your camera sideways.
Turn it sideways.
Yeah.
No, that's a flip. Yeah, turn that way.
Right. Bingo. There we go. All right. Good afternoon. I don't know what time it is over there. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you
We can
clearly.
hear you clear.
All right. Are you concealing your face for a reason? It's cool. I mean, I can't see you. And I want this to be accurate because it means something to me and shit. I'm a journalist for real. That's why you were introduced to me and shit. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I can't see you guys though. I can't see you. Y'all might have to back up a little bit or something. Right. That's better. All right. Good afternoon. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How you doing?
My name is Jamil. I'm the executive producer and founder of Gully TV. I'm a highly decorated media personality and journalist in the United States. Your situation was brought to my attention by a friend of mine from Washington, D.C., and I'm very concerned with what's going on with y'all over there. So why don't you start from the top by introducing yourselves, and we'll get to, the headlines that I've read and things of that nature.
Okay, good morning. My name is Roger John Stevenson.
I'm Renell Stevenson. Currently, we're in Ecuador, serving a sentence of 34 years, 8 months for a murder that we didn't commit. But right now, the situation is pretty crazy. For the past 2-3 months, we've been putting out videos, giving people update on our situation, because before we never did any media on it. But right now, the situation is serious, because back in February, at this same prison that we're at right now, they had like 30 head choppings that happened in one day, right? And then 2 days ago, we're not even going to say 2 days ago, because right now the fighting's still going on. They're just doing a media blackout. There's over 300 killings in the prison right now. You know what I'm saying? So the gang wars that's going on, like the way it's set up in the States, when you got a low sentence, you're in a minimum unit, or you're on your way out the door.
Okay.
Out here, people who got 30 days, who's still being processed, they're in a maximum security prison. There is no minimum, there's no medium, no none of that.
There's no security levels.
There's no security levels. No security levels.
All right.
So the terrible part about here is, if you owe your baby moms $100 for child support, they'll lock you up and you do 30 days for that. And these people are all caught up, just like us, in the middle of these gang wars. So what happens is, if you're on the unit where you're the op, if you're in the op unit, you're in a bad situation, because another unit or 2 or 3 units comes running up on your unit. These guys got AKs, AR-15s, grenades, everything, and they storm the unit. And
hold on. When they come to the unit, when they not playing with knives, they don't have knives.
Nah,
They ain't playing. They coming serious. Fully armored, bulletproof vest, and this is inmates.
Inmates.
In
Because what
prison.
happens is,
In prison.
here, the inmates, they have the keys to the doors. So each unit, it got the bars, they got the big guard key. The inmates got those. And in order to get through that door, after we do the interview, I'll send you some of the pictures. These dudes are throwing grenades at the door. Throwing the grenades, get away from the door, get away from the door. and then they coming in and they killing everyone. They're not even going for the ones that they feel is the enemy or the op. They're like, man, you live in this unit, it's over for you.
Let me ask you something. Being that are y'all American born?
Yeah, American born.
Okay, I was gonna get to that. All right, y'all from America. When they set it off and shit, how are y'all able to distance yourself? Would you start speaking English and shit like that?
It's just been a blessing. Me ain't been on the unit that's the ops.
Oh, okay. God damn.
That a lot of people right now, they are doing protective custody, because at any day a unit can be considered the op.
Right. Damn.
Like one person, because one person on this unit is the boss. He runs the whole thing. So if he goes and do something foul against the regiment of the whole gang culture, everybody coming over here for him, and it's vice versa for the other units. Because where we're located is 7 units.
Right. Now, throughout all of this chaos you just described to me, hand grenades, AKs, and a lot of death, how y'all able to maintain contact with technology? You got to explain this to me. This is miraculous how we are able to conduct this interview, and on the other side of that wall, it might be grenades going off. How is this possible?
The corruption here is ridiculous. You know, the guards, the police, they all, whatever you need, they're the pharmacy, they're the gun store, they're the technology. The corruption is overwhelming. The police force here, they only get paid like $1,000 a month. So for the cell phone that we're using right now, that joint costs us $400. A phone that's on the street for $100 costs us $400 a month.
Okay. Almost. Damn. Tell me what is it about the Washington D.C. culture? Why are y'all so close to culture that y'all hop on planes and end up in foreign countries and shit like that? How did you guys from Washington D.C. end up in Ecuador? I have to ask you this before we get to the wrongful convictions and shit. I have to make sure that people who watching this are familiar with who I'm interviewing, basically. So, yeah, tell me what is it about Washington D.C. and culture make y'all go back to, go to these foreign countries? I almost said going back home because we're people of color and shit like that. But what about Washington D.C. make y'all so comfortable with going over there and maxing out like that?
For me, it was a change of lifestyle. I was a business major in college, and when I was in college, I came out here on an exchange program, and I just saw the different level, a little bit more relaxed, and now the U.S. dollar, so it seemed like an easy transition. So I moved out here to get into ecotourism.
Pardon me, we had some static. I don't know what that was. We straight now. Go ahead.
Yeah. So once I graduated college, I moved down here with the desire to get into ecotourism. I purchased a farm that was 125 acres, and it had homes on the property. I put a nightclub on the property, and then I made the rest of the homes basically like a single-family motel, and started working the land, kind of just to get black youth and everybody out here so they can see a different way of living life, not being a part of the rat race in America.
Right. What university did you start your journey at that led you to being in exchange to? What university was you at?
Washington and Jefferson College in Western Pennsylvania.
Oh, Washington Jefferson. Okay. And you majored in what? I
I majored in business, and I minored in sociology.
Got it. Okay. All right. So you got you have business aspirations originally. That's what brought you to Ecuador. Education and business, commerce, right?
Yeah.
All right, what part of DC y'all from?
We're from Northwest.
Northwest.
Uptown. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now that we got that out the way, can you explain to me the circumstances and the best that you can? What landed you in the prison that you are at right now? How did y'all get the 35 years?
But how it way we got it is a friend of my brother's, a friend of mine as well, who worked on the farm. Yeah, he originally started to work on the farm when we got here, because my brother came down here in like 2014. I came down in like the summer of 2014. And this guy, his name is THRU Samarenda. He helped us like cut the trees down, cut down bush, help us get the houses organized, because he's like the same age as my brother. My brother's 27. I'm 38 years old. So this guy, he helped us to maneuver in the town, because where my brother got the farm at, it's in the jungle. It's in a town called Palora, Ecuador, right? It's about 8 hours from the main capital city of Quito, right? So the climate there is immaculate. Like rain only in the morning, sun all day. Like it's very beautiful out there. So this guy Hero, he was helping us with the farm. He was also became a DJ, because my brother ended up making one of the houses, because it was like 4 houses on the farm. He made one of them a nightclub. And this guy, he had aspirations to be a rapper, singer, dancer, because up in his community, which is a Tower Side community, his family, they do like their native dancing, the native singing, and all that type of stuff. But what he did was put his spin with like reggaeton beats with their native tongue onto the music and stuff, right? So once he seen that we was Americans and we had like a musical background, he was like, man, I would love to be the DJ at the club. So he started doing the DJing with us. He was with us about living on the farm for, I say, about 2 to 3 years. No problems, anything. Then one day, his father came and was like, you know, we doing tourism back at the farm, like back in our community. Because their community is way bigger than our farm. Like they basically got half of the jungle privately to themselves. So
Okay.
he was like, you know, come back and help us do this ecotourism. Don't really be worried about these Americans with their ecotourism. So he rolled out. He rolled out. It was him and his girlfriend that lived there with us on the farm. They rolled out, and at times, you know, we would see him in the city, no problems, nothing happened. Then 2017 come up, February 27th, allegedly, is when he goes missing. So they're in town, we seeing people, nobody saying anything. We actually see a billboard on the wall, possibly like around like March 9th or March 10th, saying that, you know, this man is missing with somebody else. And we're like, damn, this man is missing. This is crazy, right? Don't pay it any mind. March 11th, at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, the police kick in our door. They kick in the door. At this time, I didn't speak any Spanish. I didn't understand Spanish at all. I'm just coming down here to see my brother. He been here for a month and then roll back out. Wasn't really concerned too much about Spanish. So they kick in the door. I'm asking my brother, man, what the heck is going on? What's going on? He said, man, they saying that we got a cocaine plantation in here and we are selling guns. We got guns in here to sell. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Because these people come in just like the SWAT, you know, with the whole mask, the shield, AKs and all that. So I'm like, man, this got, you sure this is what they doing? They might be trying to rob us. You know what I'm saying? Like, or kill us or something, you know? Because
Right.
I'm not familiar with what the heck is going on. So as the process started going on, you know, they got us detained. They going through the house. They're not finding anything. They ain't find no guns. They ain't find no cocaine plantation. None of that. They find like 2 ounces of weed. They found like a old rifle. I'm gonna send you a picture of that. And they found an old revolver. Neither one of them worked, right? So this is about 5 o'clock in the morning. This is happening when they do the kick in the door. At about 7, 8 o'clock, the prosecutor comes in and is talking to my brother in Spanish, like, you know what we looking for, tell us what we looking for. While he's saying that, all we hearing is one big commotion outside. One of the police officers is like, man, we got to get you guys up out of here. The indigenous community is outside. when we like the indigenous community, when we go outside, there's about a good 200-300 people outside. That is from our DJ and our friends, our community, right? So they're outside. They take my brother over to the side, ask him something. One of them swing off on him while they putting myself and his girlfriend in a car to transport us to the police station. They get him in the vehicle. They transfer us to the police station. My brother's asking him, like, what's going on? What's going on? Like, what is the situation here? They're like, I don't know, man. I think those people said that they found a body in your backyard. I'm like, my brother's like, what you mean they found a body in the backyard? You're like, I don't know. It's something weird going on. So instead of them taking us to the local police station where our town is called Pelor, they took us to Macas, right? That's about 2 hours away. Took us all the way out that joint. Had us sitting in the precinct. No translator. No one to tell us what's going on, telling us why we're detained, any of that. You're just like, we just sitting. Be like, man, what the world is going on? Like, what is going on? What is going on, right? By this time, it's about 5, 6 o'clock. They allow us to speak to the U.S. Embassy. They like, call the U.S. Embassy, because what they tried to do was try to read us our Miranda rights. They tried to get some lady that didn't speak English too well to start reading us our Miranda rights. And we're like, wait a minute, don't even try to read us our Miranda rights. How about we get the embassy on the phone and maybe they can translate what the heck is going on here, because you guys are not explaining why are we being detained, right? So they get the embassy on the phone. The embassy is like, man, we're not sure what they're holding you guys for. They're just saying that, that they found guns on the property, they found marijuana on the property, and supposedly they found dead bodies on the property. But I'm like, so why is it so hard for them to explain that to us? Because my brother, he spoke Spanish at the time. So they weren't giving that kind of information to us, but they tried to share that with the embassy. So we're like, listen, we don't feel comfortable leaving you guys off the phone. Like, we need you guys to stay on the phone with us so you can hear what this whole process is, and they're trying to read us this Miranda rights and all this type of stuff. And the embassy, like, man, we can't really do that. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, they can't take position of translating or legal party for you. You see what I'm saying? So the embassy gets off the phone. They continue to try to read us the Miranda rights. The lady who was the translator, she gets nervous. She's like, wait a minute, man, this doesn't look right because I don't speak good enough English to translate this for them. So she leaves out. It's about 6:30, 7 o'clock. They're like, all right, we need to take you back to the town where you guys have your farm, back to Pelor, that 2-hour drive, so we can speak to the prosecutor, because the prosecutor and all of that, he was there at the farm, right? They take us back to Pelor. When we get back to Pelor, there's buses, like a police. I'm talking about like a brigade of like 50 police and all this type of stuff, right? We start coming past our farm. We seeing smoke, fire coming. And be like, yo, what the heck is going on, right? When we get to the prosecutor office, that's when they tell us, they like, man, that those indigenous people, the THRUs from the Tawasak community, done set flames to your whole farm. Like, your whole farm is in flames. Like, everything is burnt down, right? We're like, what do you mean everything is burnt down? They're like, everything is burnt down. We go to the prosecutor. The prosecutor has another translator who tries to translate for us to tell us what we're being charged with. So at 8 o'clock at night, they're telling us that we're being charged with possession of firearms, which was the rifle and the revolver I was telling you about, and the 2 ounces of marijuana, right? And they said they found cocaine, right? We're like, cocaine? We don't use cocaine, so we ain't paying any mind. They translated, they tell us to sign off on whatever the charges is or whatever. Then they show us pictures of the 2 dead bodies, right? And they're like, do you know who these guys are? We're like, no, man, like, what is this? They're like, these found on your property, right? And we're like, okay, what is that? What are you trying to say? But they're like, don't worry, you guys have not been charged with this. You haven't been charged with the finding of these two bodies, right? So it'd be like, okay, cool. We go over to see the judge. The judge, we see about like 10 o'clock, right? When we see the judge tells us that that we have preventative lockup for the drugs and for the guns. For the guns, there will be a 30-day investigation, and for the drugs, there will be a 60-day investigation. We go in, they send us back to Marcus, because Marcus has the prison holding facility. So we get into the prison about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. When we get inside of there, man, there's no mattresses, there's none of that. Like, you're sleeping on the floor.
No cells, nothing.
No cells, nothing. So, like, you get thrown straight to the wolves. So, like, soon as you wake up in the morning, you got to start buying what you need. You buy your mattress, you got to buy your blankets, you got to buy a toothbrush, like, all of that. And it's all being sold to you by inmates. You know what I'm saying? So, that was, like, our first day experience. While within that same week, we, on the 17th or the 16th, right? What was it, 17th? On the 17th, they came and served us papers saying that, you know, the two bodies that was found in your farm, we're going to charge you for murder for that. And we're like, why are we being charged for murder? Like, but that doesn't even make any sense, right? But prior to that, I skipped over something. The father of our friend THRU, the guy that, one of the victims that they found in the farm, he was sending lawyers, sending people as representatives asking us for money. One dude came at for $1 million. Another guy saying, man, you need to sit down and speak to this man, Stalin Samarenda, because he can help your situation. We're like, man, we are innocent with this. We ain't giving out no $1 million. We ain't speaking to that man. Like, nah, we're going to go through this whole legal process. You know what I'm saying? So we do that. When we get our lawyer, we ask our lawyer, we're like, in your legal system here, how does this stuff work? And he's like, listen here, this is how this whole situation is working. The state is not bringing criminal charges against you for the murder. The family of the victims is bringing the criminal charges against you for murder, because the state does not have evidence to prove that you guys have committed murder. So the family is bringing the case against you. And we're like, what? So when we told him that the man wanted money to drop the case, he's like, yes, this is what happens here in these countries. A person will bring cases against you, and then they will try to extort you for money. Once you say, okay, I give you some money, the person would take the case off, and the prosecutor just steps away. There's not even, so when you go to court, it's the prosecutor, the victim's lawyer, against your one lawyer. So once our lawyer explained this whole legal process of how this is all working and coming together, we're like, oh man, this is ridiculous. The man is asking for money. Our lawyer said, don't worry about it. You guys are going to win this case. It's an easy go. The first trial we have is the gun case. The guns were old antiques. We actually got them when we purchased the farm, like they were there. When the judge made the decision, they said, listen, these guns do not fire. Like they don't shoot out bullets. So they cannot be considered a firearm. They're artisanal weapons. Case dismissed. Oh man, the family of the victims, they're outside of the courtroom. They're just protesting, throwing rocks, screaming, hollering, intimidating the judges. After we win the gun case, they changed the judge, they changed the prosecutor, right? That prosecutor that was on that case, he ends up getting in trouble for corruption because he was leaking information to the public prior to cases coming out. Like he was involved in other, so he got disbarred for that. We go on for the drug case. On the drug case now, they give us a 3-judge panel. Now imagine we got a drug case, a 3-judge panel for 2 ounces of marijuana and this cocaine that they said that they found. They said that they found about 60 grams of cocaine, right? We have a 3-judge panel. It's a different prosecutor. This prosecutor now says that we were manufacturing and selling cocaine. That he got an anonymous phone call saying that we were selling cocaine. When it came to give that information and testimony in court, it was all fabrication, all lies. Because they had no pictures, they didn't have any testimony or anyone saying that we were selling drugs. The judges said, you guys are innocent. That is considered consumption. The cocaine now, they had cocaine there, but it was never tested. So when they were saying that there was cocaine, our lawyers are like, hey man, why didn't you guys test the cocaine? We don't even know if that stuff is cocaine. It could have been flour or whatever. And they're like, yes. So they threw the cocaine out immediately with the drug, with the weed in the cocaine case. They're like, well, the cocaine wasn't tested because 60 grams, that's illegal in this country. You got 60 grams of cocaine, you're going down. You know what I'm saying? There's no consumption for that. So when it came to cocaine, they tested it. They didn't do any tests or anything on that. They just had it there just to try to trump up charges on us, right? So the judges end up saying, hey, you guys are consumers for the marijuana. The cocaine was never tested. Case dismissed. The prosecutor on that case appeals it, right? When they appeal it in the same city that we caught the case in Marcus. The prosecutor appeals the case. We're not present at the appeal. It's only our lawyers are present and the prosecutor and the same three judges. They don't change not one or two of the judges. They got the same three judges sitting on the appeal. They reverse the innocent verdict and say that we get 8 years. Saying that, yes, we are traffickers. We are manufacturers of cocaine and marijuana. They reverse it and give us 8 years, right? So at this time, our lawyer recommends us, like, listen, man, you might need to get another lawyer that works in Quito, which is the capital, because you guys can appeal this sentence in Quito and they can reverse it because there's supposed to be a little less of corruption in the bigger city, right? So it goes to Quito, the judges up there, they said, okay, we appeal it. They said the first decision was correct. The second decision had no basis. No nothing. They reversed the decision and said that we were innocent on the marijuana and the cocaine charge. So they took the 8 years off. So now we're free on the gun case. We're free on the drug case. At this time, the family of THRU, the Samarenda family, they are in the news saying that we're paying the judges. The judges is corrupt. If the judges are going to let us go free on this murder case, that they're going to go and seek indigenous justice, that, you know, there's one set of corruption going on. Like, these people are in the news just fabricating stuff, right? They're saying all sorts of things against the judges. We're not seeing it because at the time, cell phones wasn't really popular in the prisons. But we're hearing it from the people in the prison saying, hey, man, this man is attacking the judges. He's threatening the judges. We're threatening the judges. We say something to our lawyers. We're like, hey, man, is it legal for this man to threaten judges and prosecutors and stuff like that? They're like, no, it's not legal. I'm like, man, why aren't you guys doing anything? Like, either we get a change of jurisdiction or get this man locked up for this. Because, like, he's intimidating the whole process, right? Time for us to have the murder trial. It's the same three judges that was on our drug case, right? We start our murder trial in 2017 in December, like the 12th or 13th of December. We start our trial at like 8 in the morning. We go all the way down to like 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, right? Within the trial, the first person that testified was Stalin Samarenda, our friend THRU's father. He says him, along with his family, was present on the farm at 3 o'clock in the morning before the police arrived with shovels, right? The judge and the lawyer asked him, why were you there in the morning at that hour at 3 o'clock in the morning with shovels? He said, because I was looking for my son, right? But no one goes and asks him, why do you feel that there was the dead bodies on these guys' farm? Like, how do you know that? Because they never have a warrant for that. They only had the warrant for drugs and the guns. If you felt that there was dead bodies there, why didn't y'all come with the warrant for the dead bodies?
So a lot of things played out in our favor in the trial. They had DNA that they never tested. They said that they found semen, they found blood under these guys' nails. They said that they found stab wounds and all this stuff in these guys' bodies, right? Never tested it. Just presented it in court to create a horror movie, but never tested any of these things, right? So this plays out on the first day. That whole from 8 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock. The judges, these 3 judges now say, hey, we're going to suspend this court date. We're going to suspend the court date to January 17th, 18th, like a month away. Our lawyer says, wait a minute, that is constitutionally not right. You're not supposed to suspend it more than 30 days or more than a week, right? They're like, don't worry about that. Boom, walk out the courtroom. Walk out the courtroom, right? We go back to court in January. We do the rest of the trial. It's just a one day. We do the rest of the trial. And that part of the trial, they do cell phone evidence, GPS evidence from the cell phones, right? We were with a taxi driver on the 27th, taking our family to another city so they can go back to Quito, right? While we was with them, the taxi driver, our cell phones doesn't ping in that city, right? So they're like, we can't say if you guys were on your farm or in that city. But I'm like, wait a minute, the taxi cab driver says that they was with us. So why aren't you taking the taxi cab driver's word? But they're like, well, we don't see that in the phone records. Well, the reason I'm bringing that up is what we end up finding out afterwards is that those phone records was false information. So due to them keep changing prosecutors, no prosecutor was doing any work. It was just like, okay, I'll just pick up the case, I'm gonna just go to court and just do what I can. So at that time, after that trial finished that day, they suspended it again for deliberation. They suspended it for deliberation. When they came back, it was about a week for deliberation. When they came back, they said 24 years. They tell us we got 24 years, right? They come in fast, boom, 24 years, rolled out. Our lawyer said, don't worry about it, don't worry about it, because they didn't give an explanation. They didn't give an explanation for why we got 24 years. Because there was nothing to say that we killed the guys. We had no motives to kill these 2 brothers. We had nothing to tie us to it other than that the bodies that's on our farm, right? This is, they just write in the sentence that a life lost is a crime. And in Ecuador is 24 years. Just like that, right? So our lawyers appeal it. Our lawyers appeal it on the basis of contamination, saying that the same judges that was on our drug case should not have been on our murder case.
Right.
They on the basis that you did, and they appealed it on the basis that you didn't give an explanation for the murders, right? And there was exams that were supposed to be done, and you guys never did the exams, right? In the appeal, why do we have the same 3 judges again? The same 3 judges, they take it up to 34 years, 8 months, and give the same explanation that they gave for the 24 years. And that's it. So the point that we're at now, we appealed it in Quito for the murder sentence. Got denied. So where we're at right now, since we went through this whole appeal process, is something called revision. We're at a revision where you can open up the case. All that DNA evidence can be tested now. All of the testimony and things that wasn't correct, we can be re-examined and done properly now, and it will not be done in that town where we were at. It's going to be done in the capital, where it's no intimidation, there's no corruption, and all of that is going to take place. So due to us having that high sentence, they sent us out of that prison in Macas, and that's where we end up now, is where we're in a federal penitentiary now.
This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable, man. I don't know what to say.
You got to turn your volume on.
I don't know what to say, man. They got a TV show about shit like this.
You gotta turn your volume up, my brother.
Um, can you hear me now? There you go. Yeah, I was saying they got a TV show about shit like this. It's called Locked Up Abroad. Is there anything that you can do as far as getting intervention from the United States?
I didn't hear you, Gully.
Is there any way that y'all can get some type of intervention from the United States?
Phone calls. 1 second. It's hard to hear you right now.
Can you hear me now?
1 second.
We're recording this video live from Ecuador.
All right,
So
there we go. We back.
better?
We can hear you clearly now. Yeah, we can hear you good now.
There's no type of intervention that y'all can get from the United States?
So far, it's been very difficult. When we initially dealt with the U.S. Embassy, they don't like to involve themselves with foreign affairs. They just give us a list of lawyers that they can recommend. But other than that, the U.S. government only calls every 6 months to check in on our well-being. But legally, the U.S. government has not taken any stance.
And the they numerical system is a year's 12 months over there?
Yeah, a year's 12 months. And to get probation in this country, you have to do 60% of your sentence.
When y'all had the 24, y'all appealed and they gave you another dime.
Yeah.
With no justification. The same three judges. We put in a motion for the 3 judges to step down. They all refused on stepping down. They denied our lawyer the opportunity to change jurisdiction, and they moved up the court date in our appeal and gave us 10 more years on top of the 24 years.
I really, really empathize with your situation, but my nigga, you American-born black man, you gotta know that they're gonna, you already know, right?
Yeah, true.
Damn, baby.
In the trial, they asked, what are you guys doing here? Like the judges, they personally asked us, like, what are you guys doing here in Ecuador? Like, why would you come here?
Right.
Like, they were shocked to see black people that choose to go into the Amazon. Because what we learned after being in this situation, like, you have black people that come from America that's out here, but they go live by the beaches. They go live in like the tourist areas. Right. They don't go live in, you know what I mean? So in their mind, they're like, why come and live in the jungle amongst the indigenous community? Like, that threw them completely off. It's like, I guess
it's throwing me off.
It's like
true.
It was cheap.
Shit throwing me off.
Yeah, because the land. Like,
let me ask you something, man. I have to ask this. Y'all had no fear of no type of wildlife out there when y'all was out there cutting down trees and shit like that. You had no fear of and no reptiles or nothing like this.
No, we saw a few, but I had my pit bulls, I had my Rottweilers, I had 8 dogs when I lived on the farm. So anything that moved in the bush, they were barking and attacking.
I don't know what to say, man.
It was beautiful. Like, we had a natural river running through. Like, you'll just look at a hill, and then out of nowhere, this water is coming out the hill. Like, that created our river. Natural spring water.
Yeah.
The prior owner to the farm, he had planted so many fruit trees, like over the 125 acres. Like, when you walk to different ends, like, you're just picking up fruits like bananas, lemons, oranges, and just eating it. So, like, by the time you walk back to the house, you done did a workout and you done ate enough fruits for the day. Like, the first time I came, I hated it because of the mosquitoes, the tarantulas. I'm talking about like it was full of tarantulas everywhere. Tarantulas, like tarantulas is like cockroaches out there. Everywhere you're seeing it. So like once we learned how to like cut the bushes back, this guy THRU, the victim, he showed us how to take care of all of that. He like, man, you gotta cut these bushes back. You gotta keep this grass low. You know what I mean? You gotta get some cows. So when the cows come, they eat up all this grass. So there's not that much grass around the houses and stuff like that. So by him living there, he showed us how to be like, all right, I know you Americans ain't gonna like this type of stuff. So let's try to push a lot of this bush back. You know what I mean? And when he did that, like the second time I came down, I'm like, all right, now it's better. Now it's better. Because it's like the mosquitoes wasn't that serious. The tarantulas were still there, but it wasn't as bad. You would just like see the shadow. Before it was like they walking past you. Before you put your shoes on, you got to knock your shoes out. Make sure there's no tarantulas in your shoe. They got these ants out here that they call Congo ants. They're like this big. Man, these joints bite you. You have like pneumonia for like 3-4 days. Like cold sweats and all of that. I put my shoes on one time without checking. The joint bit me. Man, I was sick for like 3-4 days, man. So it was like the beginning was treacherous. But once we got a control of it, it was beautiful. It was normal. It was like being in Atlanta or Georgia or something.
And they ain't tripping off no COVID-19 over there, right?
Woo, it's serious with the COVID out here right now. But the issue is everything is natural here, but the people don't eat healthy. Everything is cooked with oil. It's always fried. They eat a lot of rice and stuff like that.
A lot of pork, fried chicken. Everything's fried.
Yeah, so everything's fresh, but they're not cooking it right. So the COVID is crushing people.
That incident, that footage that I don't know what it made the news or whatever. There's footage circulating. It was a pile of bodies. That happened how far away from y'all? And that shit y'all not disturbed by that type of shit?
Yeah, hell yeah, we're disturbed by that. This past year in February 23rd to be the exact, that same type of incident happened at the prison where we were at, where they killed about 35 people, cut their bodies up, cut their heads up, blew people up with grenades, was shooting people, stabbing people. And then now the prison that's happening at right now is about 4 hours away. And now they're in a gang war. And the news is reporting that it's about 100 or 110 people dead. But we know people in that prison. And it's at least 300 people that are dead. But the media is not putting out that information.
They haven't even finished taking out. They still haven't finished taking out the bodies yet. They're still fighting right now.
What's the name of the prison?
The prison where the fighting's going on right now is Guayaquil Penitenciario.
Literal.
Got it. I hope this look. I'm gonna take this, edit it, upload it, do what I gotta do with it. Hopefully, I can raise some awareness about y'all situation over there, man. But y'all black, man. I hate to, I wouldn't like to say y'all had no business going over there fucking around like that. Earth is our turf. We can be wherever we want to be, but people got in other countries, they got a distaste for Americans, and you already know what it is with niggas. So
True.
I hope at some point y'all get the relief y'all looking for. Y'all can't pay y'all way out of it. You were explaining to me that, at some point it was an extortion type of situation, right?
Yes. Yeah, we can pay our way out of it, but the issue with paying our way out of the situation is we will never go back to living comfortably back on that farm. You know what I'm saying? So it was a situation we wanted the legal system to give us our freedom. So it's not us just running out of the country and just giving some man some money for him killing his own family, I believe.
Damn.
So because my thing is, you can't give me money if you kill my son. I don't give a damn how much money it is. Like I don't.
If there's any way of compensating the people, man, pay that shit, man. Get the fuck on home, my nigga. Like with no ties to their country, like that's just the best recourse. I gotta get up out of here, man. I appreciate y'all coming to me with it. I don't think anybody else would be generally concerned, but I'm about culture and I'm about journalism. So I offer my hand to y'all situation, man. I hope it gets a lot better for y'all though. All right.
Definitely. I
Appreciate
Okay.
appreciate
you,
you.
brothers, man. Yeah. One.
What's up?
Okay.